This is the key here. Geeks, we're using the yogurt maker to become expert seed starters. This one is a very cheap yogurt maker. It is off Amazon. I think it was like under 50 bucks. She's not fancy. You can use an Instapot yogurt maker. My Instapot doesn't have a yogurt maker because it's older than the hills. So I bought this nice little cheap one rather than going and buying a whole Instapot for excessive amounts of monies. Yogurt makers work off of two really important factors. Number one is obviously heat, and number two is moisture, because seeds like it wet. They don't like it P. Diddy wet, but they like it relatively moist, and this allows that to take place. The other version of this is actually the Instapot. My Instapot doesn't have a yogurt maker on it, and there's limited results with that because this has a clear top. The Instapot has a dark top, and this actually, the clear top version, makes it much easier to set it and forget it and not worry about legginess and having to check it all the time. Inside of these, there's jars with white caps. I personally don't use the white jars unless I'm obviously making actual yogurt. I just use the bottom of said tray, and I just put the paper towel on the bottom. The seeds that you choose to do this with are going to include, but are not limited to, seeds where you're like, oh my gosh, I was supposed to start that 2-3 weeks ago. I'm so far behind. That's seed candidate number one. It can be tomatoes, cucumbers, it does not matter. Candidate number two is anything that you normally had to put on a seed mat, like a heat mat, to get started. That's candidate number two. So this can include hot peppers, various different types of flowers, all that sort of thing. Once you put them into the yogurt maker and you put it on the lowest possible setting, you literally just leave it until you start to see green in and on the paper towel. Once you see a little bit of green on the paper towel, you know it is officially now time to pop these up. And all you're gonna do is literally peel them off of the paper towel, put them in some soil, and then cover it up, and you are good to go. The beauty of this over a heat mat is that you can put a ton of seeds in here. You literally just need enough to fit on your paper towel to put in. Like, this has probably 100 rosemary seeds in this little space. You put it on there. Once they germinate, you see a little bit of green, you're gonna pull it out, dig into the paper towel, and then take some tweezers and pick out the seeds and put them into the soil. So that's number one. Number two is that because you have to move quick before the seeds obviously make their way into the fibers of the paper towel, and then you're yanking on the poor little buggers. Because you have to move fast, you don't end up with leggy seeds that you normally see with the heat mats, because the heat is cut off immediately once the seed is removed from this container. So that's benefit number two. Benefit number three is that we all know bacteria and fungus love heat and moisture. They love it. It's like their favorite thing. When you combine that with organic materials such as potting soil, we end up with a bacterial and fungal breeding ground. And the yogurt maker, because it is sterile, and it literally just has paper towel in it, does not have that, other than what's on the seed. The seeds can get moldy, but otherwise does not have that. You end up with less dampening off, less sick seedlings, and you actually skip the annoying part of heat mats, which is the fuzzy stuff growing everywhere, by simply using this. Now, if you never wanted to use this ever again as a yogurt maker, which I do use it as a yogurt maker, so I don't want to just completely trash it, but you could technically just put a layer of vermiculite in the bottom, water said vermiculite, plant said seeds in vermiculite, and then just remove the seeds from that. Because this is such low temperature, it's lower than your heat mats. To be honest, this is plastic in here. Like, this is not metal. This is all plastic. This is metal, this is not. So it is such low heat that it can't even melt anything at all. So it works wonders for that. So with my yogurt maker, I have used this in the past for super hot peppers, and also for those odd tomatoes that you end up finding that are really cool, and you're like, oh my gosh, I want to start these, but you're already so far behind. That's a great application for them, as well as fussy seeds. So any sort of seeds that are fussy and or specific. So you could technically utilize this for a lot of tropical seed starting, as well as succulent seed starting, because of just its uniqueness, if you will. So it works really nicely for that. This one right now, I am going to put some eucalyptus in there because I can. And it's very simple. So all I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my moist paper towel. And by moist, I mean, like I said, not P. Diddy wet, but just like some moisture. It's damp to the touch, if you will, because this will, it'll capture a lot of moisture. If it seems like it's low on moisture, you just have to put some more in. So all you're gonna do is I lay it in the bottom. So all I'm gonna do is I just take this paper towel, I open it up, put part of it in the bottom, just like that, and then I take my eucalyptus seeds and I'm just gonna put them on. And in this case, I'm going to spread them out just like a tiny bit. You don't have to do this, but it makes it easier to grab them. Then I'm just gonna take a single side of this sucker, put it down. This is the key here, is to actually pat it, because you need really good moisture contact with the physical seeds. So give it a little pat down. You should be able to kind of see the seeds through the paper towel. If you don't do this and the moisture isn't like perfectly kind of held, you may have issues germinating. And then literally all I'm doing, putting the top on, plugging it in, lowest setting, let her buck. So because I'm doing eucalyptus and there's a little bit of a longer germination time with these guys, I don't think I'm going to be able to get them to germinate by the time this video comes out. So I'm not gonna be able to show you the results of this because I want you guys to have time to physically get the gear if you need it, as well as plan your seedlings around this. Because once you know you have access to this as a setup, you can, for example, postpone the growing of tomatoes and peppers by 2-3 weeks and still be caught up with everybody else without sacrificing a whole bunch of area in your house. So yogurt maker, guys, give it a shot. You'll love it.